Hey there guys, what's up? This is Captain J bringing you another video, and before the video starts, like always, a very quick disclaimer. First and foremost, the music does not belong to me, and even though I may talk about different products, that doesn't mean that this video is sponsored unless I actually say that it is. Without taking any more of your time, let's get right into the video.
Yeah, people come, yeah, people go. I just sit back and collect gold.
Hold up, wait a minute.
I know what you guys are gonna say. Why are you stuck on the same exact thing over and over again? Well, I am actually not. To prove this, I am going to delete all of my old previous videos. Maybe not the 41,000 or 37,000 views, but the rest of them, about 90% of them I will. Let's just put it that way. I want to make it fair so you guys don't think that I'm just uploading the same exact thing all over. So like I said, I'm going to delete the old videos. So what are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be connecting our Pdanet Plus to our computer, and then from the computer to your video game console. I'm going to be using my Xbox 360 as well as my Xbox One. I'm going to do it on both devices. Now, I could say that this works for the PS3 as well as the PS4. I don't know that because I am not going to be using either of them. I don't have both of those video game consoles. I could try it on my Wii U, but let's face it, who is using a Wii U now? Also, I'm going to be answering some of the questions that I've been asked on my previous videos, such as Dhcp server error on the Xbox One. How can I do this without an Ethernet cable, computer, wirelessly, or how can I do this on an Apple device, such as an iPhone? There is a whole bunch of questions that I hope to answer you guys in this video. Yes, sorry to say I do have to give a lot of explanation because there is a lot of people that are still going to be asking how to do certain things. So I want to go through the whole process of explaining a whole lot of stuff, answering a whole lot of questions. I'm going to go through my previous videos and try to see what kind of questions that you guys have asked about me. I can't answer them besides the ones that I just previously mentioned. So let's get started and let's give you guys all of the items that you will be needing for this process. Note, I'm going to be doing this my way. You can find or do things a different way, such as trying to do it differently with a different computer, whether it is a Linux, a Mac, or if you want to do it on a Windows, such as I am. So there's different ways that you can do this with different devices. Personally, I'm going to be using my Galaxy S9. I've upgraded from the 7 to the 9 now. I also have a new Dell Optiplex 790, and it is a gaming machine now. I no longer have my cheap compact that I used to have a long time for Walmart. I don't have that anymore, so now I'm using a more upgraded PC. So the items that you are going to need, of course, is going to be your phone. As I said, for example, I'm going to be using my Galaxy S9. You're going to be needing your USB cable. I have USB to C-Type. If you're using an older model, it would be to mini something, I can't remember the name. You are also going to be needing your console, of course, whatever console you're going to be using, whether it's the Xbox 360, PS3, PS4, Xbox One, etc. Also, the way that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be using an Ethernet cable. This cable is going to be connected to the Ethernet port of the computer, and then the other side of the Ethernet port to the back of the Xbox One. So to start things off, what you want to do is you want to head over to the Pdanet website. I'm going to leave this website down in the description so you can get to it. Now you can do it on Windows, so I'm going to do it, or you can do it on Mac iOS. So I'm going to install or download it for Windows. The setup on the Mac might be a little bit different. I don't know. You can try this yourself. Like I said before, I don't use any or have any Apple devices. Therefore, this is what I am going to be using in Windows. While you're waiting for the installation of Pdanet for your PC, go ahead and go to the Google Play Store and download Pdanet for your Android device. If you haven't had this application before, you will need the Foxfi Key. The way to do this is that I'm also going to leave a link in the description for the Foxfi Key to unlock the full version of Pdanet. Of course, you want to do this with your phone, so that way whenever you download and install it, it'll open up Pdanet and you'll see full version unlocked, Foxfi Key installed. So if you have an issue saying that you need to enable developer options and unknown sources, this is the way to do it. Head over to your settings and then you're going to scroll down to biometrics and security. From here you can scroll down and find install unknown apps. If you can't find this here, you can always go down to developer options and then you should be able to find it somewhere in this menu. Note, mine was in biometrics and security because I'm using a Galaxy S9. Usually unknown sources is located in your developer options. Now to enable developer options, on settings, go all the way down to about device. From here, go to software information. And now go down and find build number and click on that a couple of times, as you can see on the screen. How many more times I needed to click for that to be enabled, and now developer options is on. Now what you want to do is go ahead and get your USB cable connected to your phone as well as to your computer, and then that way go ahead and continue the installation of the Pdanet for the computer, and the phone should be ready to go. So now some settings on your screen may appear the same as mine. That means that you need to enable USB debugging. To do this, of course, you already have developer options enabled, so you can go ahead and go back to there and go ahead and enable USB debugging. Now I'm showing the whole process about getting USB debugging turned on the screen as well as I just previously mentioned, so that when you can see the whole and complete change once I enable USB debugging on the screen. Now on the bottom right of the screen you can see that the Galaxy S9 is now synced up to my computer, and now for the following settings on the screen. Note, it will install some USB drivers. Leave it alone. This is absolutely necessary. Now you need to allow USB debugging for your computer on your phone, and then you can go ahead and click continue. I actually failed to always allow it with this computer. So now that the installation is finishing up, I'm good to go. One last thing that you do actually want to make sure is that you are not connected to any other Wi-Fi, or that your Ethernet cable is not connected to anything else. On the bottom right of my screen, I actually did have that. So as you see, I went ahead and unplugged the other Ethernet cable that I had plugged into it, so that way now just the Pdanet cable is actually working, and now you can see that my Pdanet is up and running and I have internet access on my computer. Now I'm going to go ahead and go to the settings, more specifically the Wi-Fi or internet settings, and on here you can see that I am actually connected to the Pdanet, so my computer has internet access and I'm ready to go. And now let's move on to the next step. Now that the most essential things are already done, get your Ethernet cable, plug it into the back of the Xbox as well as on the back of the computer. Just to be fair, I am going to cheat on the following. I'm going to use the old footage from my previous video that I made because it's essentially the same exact thing as it is what I'm going to do now. So I'm just going to try to explain to you very briefly of the stuff that you're going to be doing, so that way you have a better explanation and understanding of what I am doing. Open up your settings and go to Documents. From here, right click on Network, and then down to Properties. From here, what you want to do is click on the Pdanet broadband and then down on properties. Now go up to sharing. Now click on allow other network users to connect through this computer's internet connection. Essentially what you're doing is that you are giving permission to other people that are connected to your computer to use the internet through it. Now if you don't have this specific local area connection option, make sure that nothing else is connected to your computer. Nothing else at all, such as disable the Wi-Fi, unplug anything else that you may have connected to. Sometimes the internet or your computer tries to connect to a Wi-Fi connection, therefore disabling this option. Now turn your console on and check your internet connection. This may take a little while. The speed of the phone isn't that fast, or it's not as fast as a modem. They're a little slower, so therefore your connection is going to be pretty slow. I just want you to keep that in mind. Now to move on to the problems that you might be encountering. I had a lot of comments on the previous video about the Dhcp error. One of the things that you can do to actually make this go away is that you can go into your settings and test your Nat Type. Also clearing out your cache and that kind of thing, resetting your internet settings, network settings, all that may be the easiest and best way to clear up this error. So once I got done checking my local internet problem connection, it said that it was not connected. But a couple of seconds later, it actually did. It connected with no problems at all. Here are my internet statistics. I got 16.19 megabits per second, upload speed of 1.65. So just to test it out, I went ahead and started up a GTA 5. Also, to save you guys the trouble, I jumped straight into a session, skipping the whole loading screen. And here we go, straight into a session. As I mentioned on the previous video, I cannot personally tell how fast the actual gameplay is for everybody else, therefore it's because I can't see what they're seeing. For the most part, yes, it ran smooth, yes, everything was nice, and I didn't really have many problems nor issues playing online, as I usually never do. But like I said, keep in mind that you are using the internet of your phone. The speeds can go up or down from time to time. It all depends on the speed of your internet connection on your phone, so always remember that, don't forget it. One last thing, there may be some lag from time to time, again because of the speed connection. Remember, other people may be using a modem, therefore their internet might be faster, so you may have lag. It's common, it happens, there's nothing you can do and not much that there can be done. Now let's get into the questions that a lot of people are going to be having, because more than likely you had a problem on one of the steps, either from the beginning, the middle, or the end. It doesn't matter, you may have a problem, an issue, something that may have happened while you were going through this whole process. So let's get some of those questions rolling. So before we start, I do want to say, keep this in mind and remember it well. I am not an expert. I don't know every single little detail and every single little thing there is to know about hotspot mobile data. I am speaking from experience, from stuff that has happened to me, from what I have learned, and from what I have seen. So take this with a grain of salt. I am going to tell you what I know. This isn't a professional answer, but more of my point of view and what I have experienced. So the question is, can you have a hotspot added to your plan and this method still work, or would it be use a mobile hotspot data? Okay, so to answer this question, if you already have mobile hotspot on your plan, you may have a limited gigabyte usage. It's a lot easier not to have a plan added. The reason is because they're going to throttle you down or stop you from using hotspots once you get to a certain gigs. Let's say if you have 2, 3, 5 gigabytes of hotspot, once you get to there, it's going to stop you. So if you try to use this method after those 5 gigs, it's not going to let you because the phone is already set up for a hotspot. So no, it's not okay to have it. It's better not to have any hotspot data. If you have unlimited, that is a completely different topic or completely different scenario. If you have unlimited hotspot, then yes, leave it, because that way you will not be stopped for using your data. As well as you may not even need this process. You may not have to use the Pdanet. You're using Pdanet through your phone or the internet of your phone to the computer and then to your console. If you have mobile hotspot data, usually that is through Wi-Fi. It's not exactly through USB. This is what this application is for. It's basically, or in other words specifically, to be used through USB. Mobile hotspot data, it's usually just for Wi-Fi. Though to add another onto it, can you use Wi-Fi instead? Yes, you can, but keep in mind that it's going to be a lot slower. There is other methods, yes. Wi-Fi hotspot data is a lot slower than USB data. That's just the way that it is. There's nothing more that I can, or other words that I can explain it to you better. I have a lack of words to be able to explain as the reason why Wi-Fi data is a lot slower than USB. It just is. So the other question was about how do I do this with Wi-Fi beta wireless. Okay, so if you didn't know, Pdanet has Wi-Fi beta already on it. This for eliminating the need of having a Ethernet cable. Unfortunately, I can't really show you that much footage of it because it won't show up on my screen recording application. But all you gotta do, once you click on the Wi-Fi beta, you can make your own network and set up your own password. From there, you can go over to your Xbox or your PlayStation, whatever you're using. Go and search for it through Wi-Fi. Go through the Wi-Fi settings and then just search for that. Whatever you have named your network, that's how you're going to be able to find it. And then just put whatever password you made and go ahead and do it that way. Note, keep in mind, like I said, it is slower. I don't recommend it. This is why I usually don't tell you to do it this way. But it is a different way of doing it. You can also use the application called Foxfi, not to be confused with the Foxfi Key. They are not the same thing. Foxfi is the Wi-Fi application. Foxfi Key is the application that unlocks the full version of both Pdanet and Foxfi. So this also answers the question as to how you can do it without a computer using the Foxfi application. Once you get the Foxfi key and unlock the full version of the Foxfi application, then you will be able to use it with most phones. Keep in mind, please, I'm going to let you know this way so that way you understand it best. There are some carriers that do not allow you to use any Wi-Fi tethering or mobile hotspot applications whatsoever besides the one that they actually give you. For example, I have my Galaxy S9 and also had my Galaxy S7. They were both with Cricket. I could not get Foxfi to work for either one of the phones. I have already tried it. And yes, before you ask the question, I have both of Foxfi and Pdanet with the new version of 1.04 of Foxfi Key. Like I said, Foxfi Key unlocks the full version of both of them, lets you use them as many times as you want for as long as you like. Unfortunately, the new version of Foxfi Key was not working with the application of Foxfi Wi-Fi hotspot data application thing. So it's not working at the moment. I do not know why, and that's why I'm trying to fix that problem. Now, as I also mentioned, they do not work for every single phone. I have heard, seen, and read of people that have used an older version of the Foxfi Key, which is 1.03. Also going down to an older version of Pdanet as well as Foxfi. So if you have problems with either Pdanet, Foxfi, or the new Foxfi Key, you may want to go and get an older version of these applications. If you went and downloaded these apps from the Google Play Store, you are more than likely going to download a newer version. So it would be a very good idea just to search on Google for Foxfi APK and then find a source that may have an older version. One thing that you can do is you can look at the version that you've downloaded from Google Play Store, and look at that version in whichever one you have, and then you may want to find an older one as well as with Pdanet. I have other videos where I have 1.03 version of the Foxfi Key, and also a new video where I have the newer version of the Foxfi Key, which is 1.04. So this may be one of the reasons why the Foxfi Key is not working for either your Pdanet or your Foxfi application. The next issue or question is that you may not have the local area connection, or it may say Wi-Fi, or it might not even show up at all. There's a couple of reasons why this may happen, though I have already answered this while we were in the process of getting everything ready. When you have either a laptop or a computer that has Wi-Fi access and you previously had it connected to a router or through a free router, usually they'll have like an Xfinity Wi-Fi connection that you may have connected to before. A lot of the times it'll try to connect to that first. The computer has priorities on the internet access, and it otherwise, or in other words, overlooks the USB internet connection that you are sharing through your phone. So that might be one of the reasons why you are not able to see the local area connection. Also, make sure that you do have the the Ethernet cable, not the USB, the Ethernet cable already connected to your computer, so that way it also may not show up. That could be another reason as to why it's not. So if you are able to turn off your Wi-Fi card, a lot of the times that fixes the problem. Like I said, it tries to connect to Wi-Fi and completely ignores the internet connection that is getting through the USB. Or the other thing that it may be is that your computer is just not capable of receiving sharing through local area connection. That could be another reason. It is rare to actually see or have that actually happen, but there has been several people that have commented that they cannot see it, and no matter what they do, they are not able to. Unfortunately, since I haven't had these problems, I haven't had time nor reason to troubleshoot and try to find out as to why. As soon as I do it to mine, it just happens, it automatically connects. I have no problem, no issues, and I have had three different computers that I've tried this on. I had 2 Dells and of course my old compact. So there was no problems for me whatsoever, so there was no reason for me to try to find a solution to a problem that I honestly didn't have. But if you look down on the comments of old videos that I had, there's other people that I have that have commented onto a lot of questions that people have. So usually people find a solution and they'll share it, which is a wonderful idea because we'll be helping each other. But as I said, these instances are very rare, but if they do happen, this may be a solution for you to be able to find it. So try to turn off your Wi-Fi card, make sure no other internet connection is plugged in, that you don't have a router on in your house for some mistake. So that could be your best option to try to fix this problem. Next question, is there a way to get this on iOS? So iOS is either iPhone, Apple, iMac OS is operating system, so any Apple devices. Is there a way to do it on there? Yes. I showed earlier that you can actually download the application of Pdanet for Macs, and then you can go ahead and run through the process. I don't know if it's the same because I don't have one, so I haven't tested it out, and I don't know how it works. I haven't done it on Linux either, so I don't know how that works either on there. So to do it with a phone, an iPhone, I don't know the process of it. I don't know how you would go about it in doing it, because I haven't done it with Pdanet. So the next thing that I would say is that there is a way of doing it with an iPhone, but it's an old version of way that I know. That was jailbreaking your phone and using an application called MyY. I used to do this back when the iPhone 4 and 4S were out. Yeah, that's a long time ago, and I have completely left the jailbreaking scene completely ever since the Galaxy S4, I believe it was. Ever since that one came out, I had a lot of issues with my iPhone, so I kind of just gave up on it. Last iPhone that I ever had was the iPhone 5, not the 5C, not the 5S, the iPhone 5, and I was not able to jailbreak it. So in other words, I kind of gave up on it. It got broken, so I just left it. So sorry for getting off subject, but as far as I know, or as much as I know, there may be ways of jailbreaking your phone and getting the application called MyY to be installed on it. Before then, you gotta get Cydia on it as well, but all this happens when you jailbreak your iPhone. The risks are very high, and I believe it is not worth it. Doing a jailbreak the wrong way can brick your phone. That means goodbye phone. That means there is no more phone. You will not be able to use it or operate the iPhone at all. So honestly, I believe it's not worth it. But you can try at your own risk. It's whatever you want to do. This is up to you, the consumer, the person that's going to be using it. If you want to take that route, do a lot of research before you ever consider jailbreaking your phone. So yeah, that is as much as information as I can give you about the iMac and iOS, which is, like I said, the Apple or iCloud, iPhone, iTouch, or I don't give a damn about those devices. That's why I don't know much about them. Anyway, you can find somebody else that has a lot more information so they can guide you the right way. Educate yourself very well before you ever consider jailbreaking any of your iPhone devices. Honestly, research that a lot before you ever consider it. Next one is, can I play online games with this app on my computer? Technically yes. I am guessing this is more as in playing like GTA 5 on the PC. It usually goes down to the same thing of being slow. The phone is not as fast as their router. Those are faster, so it's hard to say how good of a performance you're going to have playing online with your computer. So the biggest and most famous, and I don't know, the games that get played the most online are now damn Fortnite and GTA 5. Let's say if you were to go online and play with those games, you may have lag, you may have problems either logging in or having just a significant lag, and you might get very frustrated. There was an instance where I was playing online but on my Xbox One, and I was playing with my homie Lawboy, and after an hour I got kicked offline. Then the next time it was like 30 minutes. Then afterwards I was on for like 2 hours, and then 20 minutes I was on and it kicked me off again. So therefore, it's just depending on the speed of your phone, it can be really frustrating trying to redo the whole process again. Luckily and thankfully, I got internet on my new house where I moved to. I was without internet for about 3 to 4 days. So I used Pdanet and I played a couple of times online, but I got frustrated because of the lag. My phone is slow. Cricket service is slow. So if you have either Sprint, AT&T, Verizon, or an other network that are, they're pretty decent and fast, you may have different results than I had. But like I said, from my own experience, Cricket was really freaking slow and I had issues with it. Once again, I will say, depending on your carrier and on your phone, you might have better results than I did. So the next two questions are basically, or in other words, the exact same thing about the Nat Type. Sometimes you can go and check on your Nat Type and you won't get one, or it'll be closed or open, strict, moderate. A lot of the times it'll be just open. I have personally never had this issue, but if you do happen to have this problem, what you can do is just go and test your Nat Type. This way it should reset it, as well as reset your cache, as well as the internet settings, and try to connect different times. It might just fix it. The way that some people have tried this out is just to test the Nat Type. Try this out and see if it'll help or if it'll work. If you're going through this problem and if you have found any other different way of fixing it, just please let me know so that way I can let other people know if they have this problem. Next question is about the USB mode and connection drop problems. So this could be two things that I can think of on top of my head. One of them is that you may have your USB mode on other than media sharing, sending, or receiving. When you connect your phone, there is different modes that you can select on it through the USB connection options. There's charging only, sending and receiving files. There's also sharing media, and it may be named a little bit different. So you want to have it on sharing media, and I believe, if I'm correct, and if I'm not mistaken, USB for file transferring should be the one that you should have enabled. Now, like I said, it might be named a little bit different, but this could be why. Now, the reason why you may have a drop connection, there's different types of USBs. Believe it or not, they have made USB cables specifically and only for charging. Therefore, they cannot transfer data, so those cables cannot be used to sharing any internet from your phone to the computer. So that may be a problem as to why you're having a drop connection. Try using different USB cables and see which one works. The cheap ones are usually only for charging your phone, and then the high-end ones, usually the ones that come with your phone, are typically also used for data transferring. Next question is, I have an Xbox One S. Does it still work because I did the steps and so on and so forth? Yes, it does actually work. Xbox One, One S, One X, whatever, whichever one you have, the process should be exactly the same. I've used it with my Xbox One, with my Xbox 360, with my Wii U. Those all work because they are directly connected through the Ethernet port, and if you happen to use the Wi-Fi sharing beta, those consoles can also receive a Wi-Fi. So yes, you should be able to use it with any of the consoles that have either an Ethernet port or are able to receive Wi-Fi data. Next and last questions. Couldn't you just hook the phone directly to the USB on the console? No, this cannot be done. I'm sorry to say that the Xbox does not receive any data directly through a USB. It is not possible. The Xbox is not meant to receive any internet access through any of the USB ports. As far as I know, as far as I've been told, and I have researched, there is no way of doing it through the USB port. Therefore, that's why you have to use the Ethernet port on the back of the console. And well, I believe we have reached the end of the video. I'm sorry it is going well over 30 minutes, but as I wanted to, I answered a lot of the questions that you may have already had, or answered problems or issues that you may have had through this process. all of these questions were provided by a lot of people on my other videos. I made several videos about this process, as well as using the Pdanet, the Foxfi Key, using the USB, the Ethernet computer, the consoles, all of that. I mentioned quite a lot of the stuff and almost any issue that you may have had while going through this process, and I do apologize, but there may be instances where I may not know the answer to a question or know the solution to a problem that you may have had. This is why I mentioned that I do this or say this when I'm trying to explain or answer the questions from my own experience and from what I know. Once again, I am not an expert, so I will say this again, take this with a grain of salt of all the information that I have given you. So, very last thing, thank you so very much for watching. Be impatient, hopefully watching the whole video, and I really hope that I have answered a question that you may have had with the problem that you may have encountered. So once again, thank you so very much for watching. This was Captain J, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.